It gives me immense pleasure to introduce you to Adhyay, the Civil Services Society of IIT-Madras. Adhyay Society is one of a kind initiative run by the students that converge and converse, which are the to create a ecosystem of passionate civil service aspirants. And it also aims to create an environment of growth and learning for the student community to cultivate a set of desirable qualities for various domains. Our world is shaped by perceptions and beliefs, influencing our reality and determining our success. In a world often filled with self doubt and negativity, understanding the impact of our self perception becomes crucial. Today, we have the privilege of hosting a renowned speaker to exchange insight and holistically guide us about illuminating the incredible power within our perceptions and self belief. We at IIT Madras are brimmed with enthusiasm to invite Ms. Sonal Goel ma'am to delegate her words on the topic, the power of perception and positive self-belief. Mrs. Sonal Goel, an IAS officer of 2008 batch, has been dedicated to the service of the nation for more than 14 years. She is presently posted as resident commissioner in Tripura Bhavan in New Delhi. Professionally, she is a commerce graduate from one of the prestigious college of our country, that is Shri Ram College of Commerce in Delhi University. She has also done LLM and MA in public policy. She shifted from the corporate sector profile to civil services with an aim to contribute her bit towards the country. Having secured All India rank 30 in civil services examination of 2008, she joined Tripura cadre and has held various significant positions since then in Tripura and Haryana. She worked for almost 8 years in Tripura in her earlier stint and has served in remotest part of the country. And apart from this, she worked 4 years in Haryana on the inter-cadre deputation. Mrs. Goel has been felicitated at various national platforms for her various initiatives, especially in rural development and women and child welfare, also in urban development, digitalization, health, sports, and whatnot. She has been featured in Top 25 Women Transforming India by Niti Aayog, United Nations, and My Government in September 2016. Top 30 Web Wonder Women's by Twitter India and Ministry of Women and Child in March 2019. She is also an honorary advisor at BRICS CCI Young Leaders Forum. She is a TEDx speaker, mentor for civil servants, aspirants, and has a huge presence on social media, almost close to 2 million, through which she is inspiring and motivating the youth to contribute towards the society and nation building. A mom of two toddlers, she is truly a woman of substance. It's a matter of great honor to have you with us, ma'am. Now, I would request you to please take the forum and address the most awaited audience.
Thank you so much. Namaskar and a very good evening to all of you, the esteemed students of IIT-Madras, the society which is actually doing a very good work, because when I see young people like you, the students like you, who are not only deliberating on important issues, but are also bringing forward the talent and the minds and taking forward those discussions. So I think that is something very commendable, which is being done by you all. And this is my first interaction with the students at IIT Madras. So I am really very much delighted and happy to be amongst all of you. The topic, my dear students, which we are going to discuss, which I felt when the invitation by the society came to me, the topic is the importance of perception and the positive self-belief. How the way we perceive things, the way we look at things, the way we interpret them, and how we have our own self-belief, self-courage, how that determines our success and how that determines our achievement in life. So that is very, very essential. So I would begin by mentioning one quote of former President Shri APJ Abdul Kalam ji. He had always believed in the power of youth of the country, and he very well had said in one of his speeches that as young citizen of India, armed with technology, innovation, knowledge, and love for my country, I realize that having a small aim is a dream. I realize that having a small aim is a dream. So, my dear friends, it is on all of you, it is on all of us to realize our potential and not to accept what is given to us. Of course, you will have some limitations, you will have some boundaries in which we all have to work. I, as a civil servant, as an officer, I also have my area and ambit of working, my protocols, my rules, procedures. But then, how do we keep challenging the prevailing real? How do we unleash and unlock our potential? That is very, very important for all of us to understand. And I am very much sure that every one of us, every one of the participant who is attending this conference today, everyone wants to unleash and unlock our potential and to reach to a level where we actually dream and aim at. But then many a times it happens that we do not have that path laid out. We do not have that vision. We do not have that clarity of how do we reach up to that level. So, friends, I would like to begin with mentioning a quote or mentioning some reference to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which I am sure you must have either read or had some reference in your life, in your upbringing till now. So, when Arjuna was into doubt, when Arjuna was into despair, and he was apprehending that kind of a bloodshed with his, of course, relatives and the family members. So when he was in doubt, then Krishna ji told him what? Krishna ji, Lord Krishna told him that the impermanent has no reality. The impermanent has no reality. And the reality lies in the eternal. And those who have seen the boundary between the two have attained the end of the knowledge. So therefore, we need to realize all that pervades in the universe is indestructible. No power can affect this unchanging, imperishable reality. The body is mortal, but he who dwells in the body is immortal and immeasurable. He who dwells in the body is immortal and immeasurable. Therefore, Arjuna, fight in this battle. So, by saying this, Krishna ji, Lord Krishna ji, definitely reinforced that power of perception. How Krishna made Arjuna realize that how he is perceiving the things is not appropriate as per the situation. And the situation demanded him to have the karma, to have that right karma, which was accurate, which was correct as per the laws of the morality. That should be exercised. And also, he tried to inculcate that or reiterate the power of self-belief in him. So, when we see our own situation, what is perception, friends? What is perception? So, perception is an understanding, or perception is the lens through which we understand the world. And definitely, we also get influenced by our beliefs and experiences. Our perception is definitely shaped by the way we have the experiences, the way we face situations in life, and how over a period of time our belief system is built into. And it definitely shapes our thoughts, our emotions, our action, giving much relevant meaning to the encounters. So, why is it important to have a positive self-belief? Why is it important to have a positive perception about society, about situations in life. Keith Harrell, one of the very renowned authors, Keith Harrell mentioned that living with a purpose is also one of the most important aspects of positive attitude. Living with a purpose is also one of the most important aspects of positive attitude. Now, friends, when we talk about having a positive attitude, or how do I inculcate a positive attitude, we all know that it is important. Positive self-belief is important. Muhammad Ali, the great boxer, he used to always say to him that I am the champion, I am the greatest. I am the champion, I am the greatest. Columbus, he cherished the vision of another world. And he then conquered, he then discovered another world, which at that moment of time, at that point of time, was never imagined by anybody else. If I talk, friends, now briefly about my own example, about how I came into civil services, because some of you maybe when my CV was being read very elaborately, so there was a mention of the shift from the private sector to the government to civil services, and that too at a very later stage. So I was not, friends, of that kind ki jisko school mein hi idea tha ki civil services mein jana hai. Frankly, I was not a student of that orientation. So I'll just mention briefly about my journey of being into civil services. Is like that I belong to a Panipat, or a district called Panipat in Haryana. And I'm sure you must have read that Haryana has predominantly had a patriarchal dominated mindset in the society. So my father is a chartered accountant. So Papa had set up his practice in Delhi. So by that means, by that reason, my education entirely was in Delhi. So when I was doing my graduation, I was in my third year of graduation, as was read in my CV also, from Shriram College of Commerce. And at that time, I was also doing CS. So I somehow read about civil services in one of the magazines. Until that time, frankly, nobody in our family had ever discussed about what civil services is. Nobody ever had attempted. So when I read about it, it gave a kick to me from inside that I should try to be in civil services, maybe because it will give me a platform to do something good for the nation and for the society. But then when I discussed this with my parents, with my family, so there was no ready acceptance, because nobody in the family had ever thought of. And the first and the most important question came was that why this shift from corporate sector, because my CS was also second stage complete, and my final exams were due. So why this shift? And civil services selection is not short. It is like lakhs of aspirants fill the prelims form and the selection is in few hundreds. There is no guarantee that you will be selected. And even after selection, which service you will get, which rank you will get, then where will you be posted? How will you settle your family life? More so being a female. And I am talking this almost 20 years back. This all happened in 2003-4. So it took me really few months to convince my parents. And then when my father said that she actually honestly wants to at least try, so then he said, ki, okay, if you want to go into civil services, I will not stop you, but he only made one suggestion, that you should have a plan B in life. So by plan B, he meant ki it should not happen that suppose I'm investing 2 to 3 years in my civil services preparation, and if I don't clear, if I don't get into it, then I am demotivated, dejected, and then I don't know what to do further in life. More so being a female, because he always believed that females should have their independent existence economically, financially. So taking my father's advice, my graduation I completed in 2003. In the next year, in 2004, I appeared for my CS final examination. That was cleared. I cleared CS. And then I started working on my plan B along with my civil services preparation. So basically, I took admission into LLB from Delhi University, which was a regular course. I appeared for entrance and I got qualified in 2004. In the same year, because my CS was complete, so I actually thought that I should also have my some experience, work experience, if not fully, then on part-time basis. And I should also finance my higher studies, if not fully, then to an extent. So I undertook my part-time job as a company secretary. And definitely my priority was civil services preparation. So I started the civil services preparation. So from 2004 to 2007, friends, these three things were moving parallel in my life. My idea, my focus was on civil services preparation. I was also doing law, which was a regular course, and I was also doing my part-time job. So all those issues of time management with you, which you also face, lack of focus, right? And then attending social occasions, how do we restrict ourselves? So I became very selfish, very conscious about my time. I was into a self quarantine and I was very much, so as to say, I was not attending the social occasions, due to which, relatives also used to criticize indirectly to me, to my parents, that tauntings, because in our society, at least till then, if a female is graduate, then it was the ideal time for her to be married and then settle in her family life. So my parents had given me that break, given me that space of making me attempt that I realize my aim and ambition. So I appeared in my first attempt in 2006 of civil services. I wrote prelims, I wrote mains, but I did not get an interview call. So that was frankly the first failure which I ever faced. From class 7 to class 12, I was always generally in the top 3 of my school. I was also getting scholarships. So this was a kind of a fight which I had taken, my own decision, and then I failed. So definitely I was very much dejected, demotivated. I took few days break. I could not understand that, like, what should I do further, what should be done. But then I recollected my strength and energy and I gave a commitment to my own self that now what may come, this should be my best attempt. The second attempt should be my best attempt, and I should not have any grudge in future that I did not give my best. So, and because I had also appeared in my first attempt in mains, so somehow I also got to know about my weaknesses, about my weak areas of like how, why I could not score good marks in GS, because I had been a commerce student, frankly. So I was not in touch with history, geography, polity for long, many years. There was a disconnect. And I was not a student who was into that habit of general studies reading or reading newspapers. I was into studies, but more of academic, not of the GK based knowledge. So I improvised on that. I gave all my efforts and mains answer writing, mock test, everything which I could do, I did. And then in my second attempt, I got qualified. I got All India rank 13th in my batch. And then I joined my training at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, Mussoorie. And then in December 2008, we were allotted the cadres and I was allotted to Manipur Tripura cadre. And then I joined the cadre in June 2009 in my first posting as a trainee assistant collector. And then I worked in Tripura for almost 8 years. After that, I went to Haryana on inter-cadre deputation for 4 years. And then I went back to Tripura. Right now, I am based in Delhi. So all these years of my journey, friends, I can tell you one very important thing. it is not only about you as a student. It is to us as an individual, each one of us as an individual, that you need to have that positive self-belief. That is your greatest strength. If you don't believe what you want to do, how will you achieve that? And if you want to achieve that aim, you also need to have that confidence in you, need to have that clarity. Now, when I talk about the strategy part, so there is one acronym which I use to make things understandable to the students, which is VGPA, vision, goal, plan, and action. So vision means what is your overall orientation in life? What is it that you want to achieve in life? After 3 years, after 5 years, what is it that you want to become? So identify what you want to become. And then it is also important to identify how you will become that. How will you achieve that? And along with that, it is also important to understand the reason why you want to become that. So what is it that you want to achieve? Why is it that you want to achieve? And how will you achieve that? आपको एक मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल में क्यों जाना है? आपको एक IIT इंजीनियर क्यों बनना है? Why is it that you want to become an IIT engineer? Why is it that you want to become a civil engineer? So this idea should be clear in your mind. And then when you are specifically in your low phases of motivation, in which everybody would be at some point of time, तो उस टाइम में वो ही चीज आपको मदद करेगा उसको फेस करने में. That idea, that reason will actually help you to face and overcome out of that situation. So therefore, it is important to understand what, why, and then how. How will you become that professional? How will you become of like what you want to become? And then action. Your action is also necessary. Unless and until you take action, you won't be able to achieve success. And your efforts are your efforts. Nobody can replace your efforts. People around you, your teachers, your mentors, your family, friends, they can help you. But जो मेहनत करनी है वो मेहनत आपको ही करनी है. Nobody else can do it on your behalf. So VGPA, vision, goal, plan, and action. What is your overall vision? That is important. And then goals are the achievable units. The small achievable units of how you will reach up to that level. And then your planning is important. And then that action taking. And friends, when we are talking about planning and taking action, it is very crucial to understand that your planning should be practically oriented. They should be practical units which are achievable. आपको अगले 1 महीने में इतना सिलेबस है जो कवर करना है. So that syllabus needs to be broken down to chapters, subject-wise chapters. That yes, if this is my target for this month, break it to weekly targets. And when we are talking about weekly targets, then also try and bifurcate them to the daily targets. And then when we are talking about daily targets, have your hourly targets. So unless and until we have this exercise of planning, of knowing what we have to actually cover, you won't be able to achieve. That is very, very important. And we all have heard that failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is definitely planning to fail. That is very relevant. If you don't plan what you want to achieve, how will you take action on that? That is very, very important. And whenever you are making an action plan, friends, 3-4 things are very, very important, which we all have to understand, that no success would be achieved overnight. You will not be You may not be successful in your first attempt. Definitely, there are people who will crack everything, who will achieve everything in the first attempt, but that percentage is very low. How much is that percentage? So, if we look at the law of averages, every average person also excels. Every success story which you see, our Honorable Prime Minister, sir, he comes from such a humble background. If he had not believed in his whole self, would he become the Prime Minister of our country? So, I would mention one example of an amputee mountaineer, Arunima Sinha. I'm sure you must have heard about her, but I will reiterate her story of grit and determination. Arunima Sinha became the first lady amputee mountaineer to scale the Everest. So what happened? She belongs to a place in Uttar Pradesh, and she was otherwise a hale and hearty lady, and she had dreamt of conquering the Everest and other mountain peaks. But she met with a tragic accident a few years back. I think it was in 2013, and in which she lost her legs. She lost her both legs. So, as anybody would have it, she was also demotivated, somehow dejected. But then her own self belief, her own strength, with her strength, she in May 2013, the date probably was 21st May 2013, she created history by becoming the world's first woman amputee mountaineer to scale the Mount Everest, to scale world's highest mountain peak, Mount Everest. In her book, Born Again on the Mountain, she has mentioned about her arduous journey, how the conflicts which were going inside her, how she reconciled and overcame that. And then she became the first woman amputee mountaineer to conquer the 7 continents. 7 continents, and she is from Uttar Pradesh, India. So goal setting, friends, is very, very important. If she could do this, I recently met one of the officers about whom I'm sure you must have read. He has cleared recently the civil services examination, UPSC 2022 result. His name is Suraj Tiwari. Suraj comes from a very humble background, and he met with an accident in 2017. And he lost his both legs. He lost his one of the arm, and only on one of the arm he has 2 fingers. Just imagine, I have met him personally. He is a student at JNU, and he lost his both legs. He lost his one arm, and on the other arm he has only just 2 fingers. And when Suraj met with that accident, of course, like anybody else, he was also demotivated. He did not know what to do in life. And after this incident happened, in a gap of few months, his elder brother also died. His elder brother also died, and this was a tragedy in the family. Somehow, one of his very close friends, he suggested to Suraj कि लाइफ में आगे बढ़ना है तो हमको कुछ पढ़ना होगा. And then he shifted from Mainpuri, UP to Delhi. He came to JNU. Initially, he failed even the JNU entrance examination. But then he reappeared, and JNU में he took the admission. And वहाँ पे रह के he has done his preparation. His father is from a very humble background. He has no means of otherwise income. And Suraj, when I met him, he mentioned that, madam, these are the friends who have supported me. किसी friend ने कभी मेरी fees जमा कर दी, किसी ने कभी जमा कर दी. And I don't know, I just kept on doing my hard work. And then he has cleared this civil services examination and he has become an IAS officer in his first attempt. So is it not the story of positive self-belief? It is not the story of the perception, how we perceive life, how confident we are about our own selves. And he has proven that it is his effort, definitely his friends, his family, his teachers, his mentors in the JNU University campus, they helped. But there is no replacement to hard work. There is no replacement to your genuine efforts. And friends, now I am also almost 15 years into civil services. I have also felt quite lot challenging situations in life. And let me tell you very frankly, very clearly that selection in civil services is much easier. But then the intention with which you came into civil services and the dynamic of paraphernalia in which you are actually working, उस intention के साथ में आगे बढ़ना, that is not easy. There are challenges every day, every occasion, and more so, I would say, as a female officer, as a female IAS officer. There are situations which keep on demanding that you have to keep proving yourself. But I think it is the commitment to excel, it is the positive self-belief, and the zeal to excel, the zeal to prove yourself, the zeal to have something done in your life, not only for yourself, but for the others. I would mention here one example of Madam Anna Raja Malhotra. In 1951, Madam Anna Raja Malhotra became the first woman IAS officer to be selected. First woman ICS officer to be selected, Madam Anna Raja Malhotra in 1951. And when she was selected, friends, the service conditions had a caveat that if she marries, she will have to resign. Just imagine, if she marries, she will have to resign. And then she was allotted, I think, Kerala cadre. And she did everything which her male counterparts were doing. And then, of course, later on, that condition of not marrying was dispensed off. Her husband was also into civil services. So now, she kept on challenging the prevailing situation. And since then, we have seen how many women IAS, IPS, and other civil services officers, how they have been challenging the male bastion. We have seen how them having the important portfolios in all state governments, they're becoming the chief secretaries, they're becoming the DGPs, they're becoming secretaries to the government of India. When COVID pandemic was at peak, Madam Preeti Sudan was the health secretary of India. And I also got the opportunity of working with Madam, and she was in the Ministry of Women and Child Development when the very important flagship program of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Abhiyan was launched in the country. I worked very closely with Madam. So friends, why I am mentioning all these things are very practical. I am not here to give you a theoretical, motivational gyan. What I want you all to absorb from my session is that you all have that courage, you all have that vision, you all need to just realize what you want to do. Have that vision in your mind, ki what is it that you want to do? And every dream would be challenged with an odd. No journey would be easy. Everybody's path would be as arduous as it could be. But then we have to keep saying to our own selves that, yes, I am a fighter and I will not give up. I am a fighter. I will not simply give up. I also did not clear my UPSC examination in my first attempt. But then I gave a commitment to myself that, yes, I will improve. I will give my best. There are many occasions in my service in which I feel that there are lot many challenges and I am not able to deliver the way I had thought that I would be working for the people. But then there is no other option than to perform. There is no other option than to keep telling yourself that, yes, you have to believe and you have to perform. And friends, when we are talking about India, India definitely has that young demographic potential. India is the youngest country in the world. You are the growth partners. You all have a very important role to play in scripting the nation's growth story. So there are so many flagship program of government: Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Digital India, Skill India Mission, promoting health of people, then working against crime against women, working for crime against women. Right. So there are so many things in which you can contribute. So my request to you all as young collaborators also is that whatever career profession you all choose, try and contribute towards your society and your nation building. And as Swami Vivekananda ji had very well said, that all power is within you and you can do anything and everything. You can achieve anything and everything. So we should not limit our potential. Keep challenging your limits and unlock your potential. That is very, very important, that keep challenging your limits and unleash and unlock your potential. Keep moving forward with the positive self-belief in life. So friends, I think these were the initial remarks from my side. I've already spoken for like half an hour. If there are any questions from the students, I would be very happy to answer few of them. If not all, 3-4 of them, I can take few questions and we can move forward accordingly.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure all would be overwhelmed with the bundle of experience and motivation that came from you. Actually, when we rolled out a form for the registrations where we received the queries. So I consolidate a few of the questions for you
Okay.
to be addressed. The very first was in this exam or any exam season, many students face challenging situations of failure, maybe due to incompetency or sheer volume of participants. How can the individual maintain a positive self-belief and bounce back from the setbacks that they receive during all the journey for the examinations?
So I think 2-3 things are very important to understand here. That firstly, failures are bound to come. Even though I talk about plan B in life, but everybody would expect कि हमारा हो जाए, हमारा first attempt में ही हो जाए. It is not only about civil services examination, it is about any other competitive examination which you all would be undertaking in next coming few years, or any job or any startup, any venture which you have in your mind. So firstly, it is important to understand कि एक mind में एक acceptance थोड़ा सा लाना पड़ेगा हमको अभी, that challenges and failures will come. But what is important is to understand that how do we overcome those situations? How do we overcome or face those failures? That is more important. So when we are, friends, talking about facing failures, it is important to know your strengths and weakness. It is easier to say कि हमें अपना strength और weakness पता होना चाहिए. As management students, we also learn about SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. But my point is that when we are talking about knowing your strength or knowing your weakness, so it is important to understand कि हम जब low phases of motivation में हैं, then how do we get out of that situation? Right? How do we overcome? So have those realistic goals or targets being set, firstly. Secondly is that learn from your mistakes also. Reflect on your past experiences and identify the areas of improvement. Right? जैसे मैंने अपना सिविल सर्विसेज की तैयारी में जब मेरा फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में सिलेक्शन नहीं हुआ, so I tried and recognized my areas wherein I had issues and wherein I needed improvement. What were my weaknesses? And then I tried to overcome. Right? So that is very, very important that we try to overcome. Thomas Edison example I would like to mention here, that he faced number of he failed number of times. He had numerous setbacks before he actually invented the bulb, the electricity bulb. But then somebody took his interview, and in the interview he said that I have not failed. I have discovered many ways that will not work. I have discovered many other ways that will not work. So your failure is also your learning experience. How you perceive at the situations and how do you overcome, that is very, very important. And friends, when we are talking about maintaining a positive self-belief, believe me, आपको कोई ना कोई अपना एक छोटा सिस्टम अपने पास रखना पड़ेगा, चाहे वो आपका हॉबी का सिस्टम हो, चाहे आपके फ्रेंड्स का सिस्टम हो या मेंटोर्स हो, दो द पीपल who are there to guide and support you. And it will not be the entire world. There would be few countable people in your family, in your life, maybe your friends, your mentors, your teachers. So speak out to them, reach out to help. Do not hesitate. We also see the cases of depression, the cases of unfortunately suicides, and all those things being happening when students are not able to accept the failures. बट ये एक्सट्रीम सिचुएशन में जाना ही नहीं है, उससे पहले ही हमें पता होना चाहिए हाउ डू वी ब्रेक दैट सर्किट, हाउ डू वी come back to ourselves, identify your strong areas, identify what you like, what are your hobbies, what are the things which make you happy, and then accept the failure, learn from them, learn from your mistakes, and then improvise and keep moving forward. आई थिंक इसके अलावा कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. मोटिवेशनल बुक्स पढ़ो, आप टीवी देखो, जो भी करना है करो, लेकिन ये जो गैप है फेलियर के बाद वाला, उसको प्रोलॉन्ग नहीं, हमें अपने ऊपर हावी नहीं होने देना है. दैट इज द स्ट्रेंथ which you have to develop.
Thank you, ma'am, for addressing this. Actually, few of them asked for the personal experiences that you witnessed with the transformative power of self-belief. I guess you have already mentioned few of them, but if you wanted to mention any, please.
I think the transformative power of self belief, मेरा प्रिपरेशन से के टाइम में मैंने बताया, the way I failed and then how I overcame, how I improvised my own self. And then definitely, you know, I also transformed a lot when I actually joined the service, because because I had always been in the northern part of the country, right? I was born in Delhi, I stayed in Delhi and NCR. And of course, for my training purpose, I went to Labasna, Mussoorie. That was my first hostel, right? But besides that, I never stayed away from my family. So when I actually joined Tripura, so there were a lot of apprehensions also which were there in my mind कि मैं कैसे रहूंगी वहां पे, language is different, culture is different, people speak Bengali, food habits are different, how will I perform, all those apprehensions. And then my husband that time was working in private sector, so I was generally staying there alone. But I think ये मेरा ही खुद का belief था that I try to change my own self, try to mingle with the people, try to learn new language. I started speaking Bengali, have their cultural adaptations, food habits. And then it was I think, the transformative power of my own self. And I understood that if I have to be there, I have to become one amongst them and have that connect with the society. That is very, very important. कि हम किसी और की जिंदगी नहीं जी सकते हैं, हमें अपनी जिंदगी को ही ऐसा बनाना है कि लोग हमारे साथ कनेक्ट हो. And that is very relevant for me as an administrator. I have to be accessible to the people. I have to have that community outreach. And how will I have that if I am not able to communicate in their language, if I am not available for them? So I think my own experience of long 8 years of staying in Tripura, they have changed my orientation, they have changed the way I perceive things. And my inner calling actually started developing so positive when I actually started working there. And people also gave a lot of support. My team supported. Whatever initiatives we took, they were sustainable. They were able to help out to the people. So I think This is my own idea of my own journey of how I transformed and how I worked upon improvising with my own self belief.
Yeah, yeah. I would take the last question as time is much. One of the person asked like how to overcome the failure. If I relate myself as well, I have also graduated this year only and got some certain placements as well. But for preparing civil services, I left them. So I do have that fear of failure, but that after 1 year, if not civil services, then what? So how could we overcome that?
So one thing is that कि वो जो failure का fear है उसके लिए mind में थोड़ा सा plan भी होना जरूरी है. That suppose I am giving my best, but suppose if I don't clear, if I am not able to qualify, then yes, this is something like मेरा plan B frankly क्या था? Let me share that my plan B was कि if I would not have cleared civil services, then I would have definitely joined the corporate professional career and I would have probably started my own NGO, a civil society organization, with my aim of doing good for the society. So that was my plan B कि अगर मेरा सिविल सर्विसेज में नहीं होता है तो मैं कॉर्पोरेट प्रोफेशनल बन के मैं अपना एक एनजीओ सेटअप करूंगी जिससे मैं कोर एरियाज जिसमें मैं काम करना चाहती हूँ उन पे मैं काम कर पाऊंगी करूंगी. So that was my plan B. So plan B gives you a kind of a security, but that is not to undermine your efforts towards your main goal. They are not to undermine your efforts. And overcoming the fear of failure, I think this comes with your own growth, your growth of the mindset. How you perceive your strength, how you perceive your weaknesses, how you realize कि आपका potential क्या है. There is a book called The Mindset, which is written by Carol Dweck. The book Mindset, written by Carol Dweck, which emphasizes the power of believing in the potential to improve, power of believing in the potential to improve and develop skills through efforts and perseverance. Develop skills through effort and perseverance. So you can also have any मोटिवेशनल बुक को भी आप साथ के साथ में पढ़ सकते हो जो आपको रिजुविनेट करे, यानी मोटिवेशनल कोट्स, एनी ऑथर, एनी राइटर विच यू फील इंस्पायरिंग, तो उनको भी साथ में रखो. एंड देन व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ओवरकमिंग योर फियर ऑफ फेलियर, द बिगेस्ट थिंग टू एक्सेप्ट इज कि फेलियर मे कम एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आएगा आएगा, बट इट मे कम. सो अगर वो आ जाता है फिर हम उसको कैसे कोप अप करेंगे, तो वो एक माइंड में हमारी बात को रखना हमें चाहिए. दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड फ्रेंड्स, बिलीव मी, ऐसा कोई भी व्यक्ति नहीं है हमारे आसपास में, हम जिसकी भी बात करें, कि जिन्होंने कभी भी फेलियर फेस नहीं किया. एनीबडी एंड एवरीबडी हैव फेस्ड फेलियर्स एट डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ टाइम. इट इज हाउ दे overcome those challenges, how they have that perseverance, that resilience laid out, that determines their success. ये बहुत बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. सो मेरा एंड में मूल मंत्र स्टूडेंट्स के लिए यही रहेगा कि अपने ऊपर विश्वास रखना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. हैव दैट सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस. एंड आपने बहुत सारे कोट्स पढ़े होंगे, इम्पॉसिबल सेज आई एम पॉसिबल, nothing is impossible, impossible says I am possible, right? So but you have to give the practical orientation to all these things and stay persistent in your efforts, keep persevering. मैं 4 P's स्टूडेंट से शेयर करती हूँ, which मैंने जब सिलेक्शन जब मेरा हुआ था उस टाइम में मैंने अपने इंटरव्यू में लिखा था. एंड द 4 P's आर patience, perseverance, positive outlook. Passion, patience, perseverance and positive outlook. Passion because you need to have that junoon to achieve something. Patience क्यों जरूरी है कि वो फर्स्ट टाइम में हो सकता है ना हो. And perseverance is your efforts to keep on continuing, and then definitely with your positive outlook. So passion, patience, perseverance, and positive outlook, they are very, very important. And I think keep giving your best, keep challenging your own limits, and definitely success zarur milegi. I'm very much sure in some form or the other. Definitely, success will definitely be there.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing this so well. Actually, we are time bound, so we can't take many more questions.
Right.
Many of the aspirants ask questions regarding the preparation of civil services. So those questions will be answered in our upcoming segments, which would be from
Friends, I
July
can
on.
also mention that for civil services preparation, actually, I have earlier also been taking sessions. So, मेरा YouTube channel है by the name of Sonal Goel IAS, and I have my Facebook page also, Sonal Goel IAS page. So, वहाँ पे भी my videos are archived. So, there are a few videos which are available. तो you all can have a look if you are interested. आप YouTube channel में जा सकते हैं. मेरे 100+ videos वहाँ archived है. And many of them relate to the civil services preparation of the competitive examinations, overcoming challenges in life. So this is my little bit contribution which I have been doing for the society. And if anybody wants to see them, you can access, right?
Before we conclude, we have a special segment for everyone. As recommended by ma'am, we will be streaming an Oscar-winning short film that is not more than 5-minute duration. We believe it will leave a lasting impact on everyone's hearts and minds. So I request the organizing team, please stream the video. We hope you found the short film both captivating and thought-provoking. And with this brings to an end of our session. I hope your all queries must be addressed, and I know some of you would wanna listen to more, but we are time bound and we have to stop now. Let
I
me
think
take up.
some people, yeah, just to interrupt, some people had
Yes,
written in the chat box ki wo name of the channel. I would repeat for everybody.
yes.
It is by the name of YouTube पे it is by the name of Sonal Goel IAS. आप Sonal Goel IAS आप करोगे तो it has almost around 14K subscribers. बहुत ज़्यादा subscriber नहीं है, but मेरे videos मिल जाएंगे. और अगर Facebook पे जाके देखना है तो थोड़ा सा cumbersome है. Facebook is by the name of Sonal Goel IAS page. But I suggest YouTube is better because YouTube पे वो सारे videos archived आपको sequentially मिल जाएंगे, right? So best best
We'll
wishes
also
for all.
share the link of your YouTube channel through the mail, and everyone will receive that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, let me take a moment to promote the vote of thanks. Esteemed dignitaries, my extremely dedicated team, and dear attendees. Thank you everyone for joining in and staying with us throughout. Thank you once again, ma'am, for taking out time from your busy schedule and sharing your experience with us. We are very honored and grateful to have you. Hope to hear from you more very often and meet you someday in person. All our best wishes for you, ma'am.
Thank
Hope
you
to
so
meet
much.